Welcome to the Employee to Boss podcast, a podcast for everyone with an entrepreneurial spirit. Every week, I am joined by successful guests in all different industries and stages of business who will share what their experience was like transitioning from employee to boss. This is a resource for you if you're wanting to start a business, go all in on your side hustle, get to the next level in your thriving business, or just hear what it's like taking the leap to becoming your own boss. I'm your host, Haley Hayhurst, the owner of Espresso Podcast Production, a full-service podcast production agency specializing in editing, marketing, and strategy. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey, Sairan, how are you doing? I am so excited to be having you on the Employee to Boss podcast. This is going to be a really great conversation.
Yes. Hi, Haley. I'm so excited to see you also and be in your podcast.
Absolutely. So this is the first conversation we're actually having. You reached out via email, and after doing a little bit of research on you, I knew I definitely needed to have you on the show to talk about leadership and your life and really how you've done everything that you've achieved through entrepreneurship. And I'm really excited to learn more. So, why don't you start off by telling us more about who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you, Haley. So basically, if you look at my LinkedIn, you will see the difference between my expertise in LinkedIn and Instagram, which I separate my business, my small business from my day job. So I work full time for the authority, for Metro Authority here in Washington, D.C. And I've been with the agency for the past 12 years. I love my job. I love all the other task and department that I work as an engineer for the past 30 years, which is telling you I am old. So I graduated a long time ago. I have bachelor in civil engineering and I obtained my master in system integration from George Washington University. That's about the same time when I started my doctoral. I was introduced to speaking, small speaking gigs and opportunity to speak with a younger engineer. That's where I found out my passion and my skills in speaking and mentoring younger engineer. And that's how my business started. So I had a different niche before that. I was a transition expert. I was guiding women who moved to United States who are mostly technical, having engineering degree, but they are seeking the truth about the American dream. Then I changed that niche last year to business coach, and I changed it on September 1st of last year. And my business in Instagram, it's a side business, it's a side haven or heaven. I'm not going to call it side hustle because for me it's not a hustle, it's not a pressure. It's actually the place that I wish if I can be there for the long time. For now, I'm a full-time engineer and a side business, and here I am talking with you.
Very cool. I love that side heaven or side haven. That's really great because, yeah, I think that a lot of us in the world of entrepreneurship, whether it is a full time business or a side hustle, we don't really want to hustle per se. So I
Yes.
love that different way to think of it.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about your journey from employee to boss. So when did you first have the idea to start this side haven and how did you come to bring it to life?
Yes, as just like any other things which is new and kind of like you embracing the unknown and you don't know anything about entrepreneurship or small business, just like any other person who started, it's vague and is not very clear. And take times until you really find out what is really your strength or your skills and your niche. This is why my new niche in business now, it's finding your hidden gem. It's not only applied to me because I change my niche or my niche, it's applied to all women or men who are seeking to find what is really hidden inside them. What is that one skill and talent inside them? So, to answer your question, of course, it was muddy in the beginning. I didn't have that confidence that I have right now. It takes time. It's aging, it's experience, it's training, it's conferences, it's doing so many podcasts, doing so many speaking gigs, writing books, blogs, speaking with the right people. But mostly it's you that you insist inside. You said, I have faith on my ability and I will never give up until I win this game. This is This is entrepreneurship world. This is infinity journey. This is not finite destination. I would say, oh, Haley, I decided to reach this milestone, or this is the benchmark I want, and I'm done after that. You are not done. It's a continuous journey that it's keep going. You keep growing, and you keep finding new venue towards being a boss of the niche that you want, or just to gain more leadership skills.
Absolutely. And I know there's a lot of listeners listening to this right now thinking that they don't really know what their hidden gem is, or they don't know what niche to go into. And one thing, because I work in the industry, I always say, like, the more niche you can go, the better, because then it's easier for people to find you and relate to you. But finding that niche in the beginning can be quite difficult. So,
Yes.
when you work with your clients, how do you help them really uncover what they're meant to truly do?
Yes, so if they are younger age, if they are like 35, I would say until 45 is easier because they are yet not in the path for retirement or leaving their day job. And I never ask them to leave their job. I never request them, oh, you find that you are an artist, then leave your engineering. Let's just do art. I'm not that person who's going to tell them that. If you're going to thrive and scale so high in your side business, then you're going to quit without coming to me. If you are a great writer, but you happen to be working in finance and your books start making million, you're going to quit yourself. You don't need to come back and telling me my book is doing very well. I'm quitting finance. Nothing wrong with keeping your day job, Haley. Is the thing is the way how I help my client to find their hidden gem or their hidden talent is to ask them a lot of question back to when they were younger, what they used to do when they enjoy, what is that one thing they really love to do without feeling the time and effort, asking them about their hobby. A lot of men, when I talk to them, I found out they were very involved in sports when they were in their 20, when they got married and their wife got pregnant, they got busy with paying the bills, taking kids to the school, so that's sport talent kind of like shade away, and they never went back to it. And I'm not again telling anyone who has a steady job to go and just play golf and playing tennis. No, it's what I'm guiding is the younger, all the older, especially my niche is midlife women, is to look really deep inside you. What is that one thing that you can calculate and measure better than others? Some people are good in technical math. Some people are thriving doing things by their hand. Some they love to write. Some they love to speak. Some they just like to be a small business owner or connecting others. They are connector. So what I ask my client after the 1 hour session with them, I ask them to really connect with themselves and listen to their inner voice. What is really inside them that's make them their eye lit up? And you see that brightness, and you see that the minute they talk about that hobby or hidden talent, their body language change, even their tone, the voice melody, everything changed. Their eye lit up, and I stopped them there. I said, let's go back and talk about that. And many women in tech, they happen to love to do things like knitting by their hand or painting. And when they start speaking about that, they just start smiling for no reason. So I asked them, okay, go back, tell me what's happened. Well, we done this in the teenage, in the 20. Now we are engineer. We don't really practice that hobby or skills. And that's how I know they really have something inside them. They just need to bring it back to the service and share it to the universe.
I love that. Helping people reconnect with their inner self, maybe the self that they lost. Throughout your clients, like, when do you think people start losing this skill of, like, knowing what they want?
That's a very good question. When you are young, a kid in elementary school, you just play and have fun with your friends. you are not really seeking that validation until you hit your teenage. And that's when it's happened when you went to high school and entering college, then you seek that acceptance from your peer, from your friends, and that's peer pressure start hitting. Then you're going to start people telling you, including your parents, you're good in math, you got to be an engineer. Not necessarily. Not everybody who's good in math gotta be an engineer. There is a lot of other skills, and there's a lot of other career that's require good math skills without being an engineer. But because we hear the stories, brother and sister, sibling, friends, uncle, parents, close friend telling us what to do. We feel when we are about to go to college or we want to finish college, we feel we have to fit in. We feel that we have to be part of the group. We have to fit in a way to meet their expectation. Well, everybody telling me I'm good in math. Yes, that makes sense. Maybe I should be an engineer. Not necessarily, because that's seeking validation. Nothing wrong with if you looking for someone telling you you done a good job. But if your journey only depending on seeking that validation, that's mean you are losing that desire, you are losing that soul, you are losing yourself, you are losing that hidden gem because all you are doing, you are trying to fit in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 27, and I feel like the first time I had a moment where I was like, what am I doing with my life was when I was in college and having to decide on, I knew I wanted to go into journalism, but then being in school, definitely that opens your eyes up to different opportunities. And then when I graduated college, the pandemic started. And that was another time where I was like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And it is hard to figure that out at any age. I mean, like I said, I'm 27, so I'm sure when I'm 35 or 40, I'll probably have multiple experiences where I'm
Yes.
trying to figure out what I want to do. I love my career. I love working in podcasting, but it's hard to think about doing something for the rest of your life. It's hard to think about like,
Yeah.
what will I want to do 10, 20, 30 years from now?
Yes, and you don't want to do that. I mean, you don't want to lose that excitement and embracing the unknown that we all need to have inside us. And you're still young in your 20. If you change your path in career, if you went back to journalism or you done something totally different than being a podcast manager, nothing wrong with that. And asking yourself those questions is very healthy and legit because you want to thrive, you want to scale, you want to leave an impact. You don't want to be just a copy paste of any for the rest of other people who's doing exactly the same task and career. So by you asking yourself those questions, it's very healthy because you are wondering, is this a thing that I want to do for the rest of my life? Really? Let me see if this is affecting anybody's life. Am I leaving an impact here? Is there any sense of belonging? Am I fulfilled? Because that's another thing. You might make a lot of money and you are financially comfortable and you feel you are happy at your job, but you are missing the joy. And that's very important, Haley, because doing entrepreneurship, doing a small business, even when you scale your business to become a big business, if you don't see the joy and the excitement, I tell my client you better not even start, because
Hmm.
I don't want you to be stressed and miserable. Even if you are 27 or you are 47 or you are 57, if you are not enjoying what you're doing, why are you doing it? And not necessarily what you're doing right now is exactly what you meant to be do for the rest of your life. That's things you are doing now, which you are focusing, which is the podcast, might lead you to the real things that you're going to end up doing for the rest of your life. So nothing wrong is, I think you still have the path, in front of you. It's easier when you are in a 20 and 30, like I said. It's harder for those women who they come to me and they're kids in high school, and some of them, they are single mom and they are doing two job in order to make up living, for them and their family. I'm not in a position telling them, oh, you speak very well or you write very well, quit your engineering job and let's just dream together, because you have to be also reasonable. I mean,
Mm,
we need that. There is a liability, there is bills. Who's going to pay those bills, right? So you can't just
definitely.
make people and client dream. You have to be kind of reasonable and telling them what is really work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel so blessed that I love what I do and I feel very fulfilled in what I do and I hope I do it forever, but I'm based in Seattle and so it's very tech oriented
Yes,
here, lots
yes,
Amazon, like lots of big
yes,
offices, and I know a lot of my friends who work at those don't feel that fulfillment. And so what I'm hearing you saying is like it's easier to make these transitions when you're younger
yes,
rather than older, which totally
yes,
makes sense.
yes.
What are some commonalities you see among your clients, maybe at any age when they're ready to pivot into a new career?
I would say most of them they are just afraid to start because the really the start is the difficult step. I mean, when you really in it, you just continue doing it because you are enjoying it. But if I'm in different side of the road, and just for me to pivot, being a small business owner, the start look very muddy and very vague. You kind of scare. Will I succeed? You ask a lot of questions, and we tend women because we are very driven and we want to succeed in every part when personal life and professional life, we tend to over calculating every step. And the opposite, when I mentor or coach men, they just threw themselves on the river. I'm just gonna do it, right? I'm like, are you ready? He said no. And I asked my husband the same question. He said, yeah, we just take it. And that's the difference between men and women, because if you see a woman, she want to have it all. She want to have a baby in her early 30. She want to have a profitable, paycheck. She want to have a clean house. She want to go back to do her master. But if you look at male, including my husband, of course, they do one task at a time. And they said, don't bother me. I'm just doing one things. And that sometimes it's good in a way, because Robert Greene talked about it in the mastery. When you do one things and you really excel in that one things, it's become your life purpose, or he call it life task. Because by being all over the place and being a little bit here, little bit there, you kind of giving 20 to 30% to each task, which is no good. You want to have that mastery in your act, in your skills, in your career. So I feel the common fear, it's them to start, because the start is always is the difficult part. And after they start, they still hesitate, because again, going back to the majority client, they are women, which I coach and mentor. They always question every steps they do. They go back and they want to redo everything. And nothing wrong with planning, nothing wrong with correcting, but you do it in a way complicating the step, you start hating the process. And
Mm,
my goal is to make you love the process. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was during pandemic, Natalie Goldberg, she's the American famous author. She had a training classes in writing, and I registered. It was like a couple of days, and I always remember what she said the first day of the training. And she's a wonderful writer, and she's black belt in Zane, so she's been doing this for a long time. She said, "When I let you write and I give you 10 minutes, I don't want anyone to go back and correct what they wrote. I want you just to keep writing." So I feel living in a small business and doing entrepreneur, same thing when you want to be a writer. Just do it. Just do the task, and you're gonna learn, Haley, as you go. No one figure out everything the first time. I mean, you're gonna lose money until you gain money. It's
mhm.
like, for me, this is what's happened. I work, training, nothing happened. Training, summit, training, nothing happened. Work, then one day, boom, the result will come in front of you. Don't expect this happen overnight. This is not a magician thing. I'm not a magic. I'm not a Wonder Woman telling you, come and talk to me for 1 month. You're going to be successful. No one done it this way. If you ask any successful men and women in entrepreneurship or small business, big business, they tell you they fell so many times. But what they have different than most of us, they have that grit. They never give up. They never give
Yeah.
up. They never call it a day. Like Les Brown said, I will not stop until I win. And I agree with him. Never stop until you win.
Yeah, I love that. That's really great advice. And totally. I mean, if everything came easy and we were successful at everything we did, how boring would life be? You
Yeah.
know? Like, I feel like it is very frustrating when, I launch a new offer and it doesn't have the results that I see that I had in my head, whatever it might be. But just keeping going is like all we can do.
Yes, yes. Like you just said it, Haley, correctly. It's like it has no flavor if I know what's going to happen in 5 years. But by
Hmm.
me testing the water and earning new skills and experience, that the journey will have excitement on it because it's unknown, right? But if I know every single steps that I'm going to hit for the next 5 years, then I'm a robot. I'm not a human being, right? There is no excitement in that. I hear one was a famous businessman. I think he was, I don't remember if he was from, he was not American. I don't remember where he was from, but he was always saying the same thing in his clips. He said, I want you to start before you are completely ready. And I didn't follow that advice because here I am, the engineer, everything precise, concise, everything has to be calculated, everything has to be really correct, the answer has to be correct, my math has to be add up. But when I hear him saying that, I used it in the midway when I start my small business because there is no right time and perfect time to do anything. The time is now. There is no perfect time. I can wait for this podcast. I can call you, Haley, can we do preliminary? Haley, can we do another test? Haley, can. And by the time I come to your podcast, I look so fake and all well, it's all transcript and I know the answer, I know the question, right? I will not resonate with your audience. But when you just do it, just show up and do your best and see what's going to happen in the end.
Definitely. And I mean, we always evolve with whatever we're doing. Like, whatever you
Yes.
start with is not going to be the end product. So,
Yes.
I think that's really great advice for anyone who wants to try something new. For anyone who does want to try something new, what are some of the steps that you would recommend them taking to find their hidden gem or niche or whatever it might be? Like, how do you work with your clients when I know you mentioned thinking back to childhood, but what else?
Yes. When after we get the complimentary first 1 hour, then I tell them about the program in 1 month and what they should expect. And I tell them that how my coaching or my mentoring or consultation, whatever you want to call it, it's a result driven because again, using my 35 years engineering, I'm the IQ merging with the EQ. My IQ is meeting the emotional intelligence, and I have to bring a product to you that I can sell it for succeed. So what I tell them is, again, as much as I want to get away from my engineering, it still pop up in my coaching. I said, when you come to me, I don't want you to come and just speak and vent. This is not going to serve you, it's not going to serve me. You pay me hourly. So we better to utilize and use that time in a very productive way for result. So I ask them to be clear. Number one, to be clear what they really want to achieve. I ask them, please don't come to the session telling me that you had a bad day, your husband is not helping you around the house, or your kids are not a student. That has nothing to do with the coaching agreement we have together. If you come, Haley, and you said the traffic was bad and you were late 6, 7 minutes, I will allow you to speak. I am not a stiff solid here, not allowing you to speak up and vent. But I don't want you to make it as a trend. Not every session you come and you complain and blame others about you not fulfilling your dream. So clarity to me is the foundation of your business. When you clear, is like building a foundation from concrete, and that building will never fall down because you are so clear exactly what you want. Do you want to open a business? Do you want to go back and pursue your master? Do you want to find your partner first if you are a woman to get pregnant and have a baby first? Do you want just quit college and just start a business from scratch? You need to be clear exactly what you want. And that's the foundation. The second thing is the building you put on the top of the foundation. And I tell them is taking action, meaning being focused in your action. I don't want you to dream with me telling me, oh, I want to write a book. Okay, what do you have done? I've been reading book. If you want to write a book, reading book is wonderful, but you need to start writing a page every day. So action after the foundation and clarity, it's very crucial because I can tell you to do certain things by watching clips and video, being the best podcast manager. If you are not doing it yourself, I'm not doing a favor to you. I used to be a swimming coach in my 20 back in Iraq, and I could not tell anyone if I want to teach them swimming, oh, watch me how I swim or watch this clip how swimmer do. I basically then get to the swimming pool. Let's do the skills, right? From the basic. Same thing with sports, same thing with business, same thing with speaking, same thing with writing. You need to take action. You need to have your hands dirty with those things. If I tell you to be a good speaker, I'm not going to tell you for 1 month, go and just listen to the best speaker on YouTube. No, I'm going to tell you, listen to them and also start small speaking gigs yourself. Because without you taking an action, you're not going to go anywhere. So, first, clarity. Second, taking action. Third, the most important things, which is the roof of your house, is maintaining what you're doing and never give up. Never give up. The grit, I want you to continue, keep grinding. Just keep grinding all the time. Anytime you fail, you come back, you get a doubt, you said, okay, what I have done wrong, it's okay. Stand up, keep going. It
Mm.
was the same for me. It was the same for anyone who pivot and start a small business. I had days, Haley. I had weeks. I had months. I doubted every single thing I done in my business. I was like, what I'm doing? Am I mentally okay? Why I'm doing this? I have a day job paying me well. Why I want to sacrifice? Why I want to spend time in this? Who said I'm going to be successful? So the doubt is there and it will stay there. But what you can control is keep grinding. Just continue what you're doing.
Mm, yeah. I think it's common to doubt ourselves when we do something as crazy as starting a new business or leaving our day job or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. And I love how that's the steps that you take to speak with your clients about really having the idea, but sticking with it. That's a hugely important part of taking any new steps in any new venture. So thanks for walking us through that because like you're saying, without those 3 steps, you might have a great idea, but if you don't take action, it's not gonna work out, or maybe you have part of an idea, but if you don't take action, you won't figure out the rest of it. So I think that's really, really great advice that you're sharing.
Yes, yes, yes. Because you can dream, you can say all the stuff that you love to do. If you are not taking the first steps, why we are even talking? You are just
Right.
dreaming, right? You are dreaming. You want to be a writer, you want to be a podcast host, but you are not doing any action towards that goal. Then why are you speaking about it? We
Mhm.
are not in a cafe chatting over having a cup of tea together. We are here as an entrepreneur and a small business owner. Without taking action, there is nothing happening.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I have a lot of people come to me and they say that they've been thinking of starting their podcast for the past 4 years or
See?
something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I think now's the time." And I'm like, "Now definitely is the time because if you've been thinking about it for 4 years, it's been taking up space in your mind for 4 years. I think it's honestly better just to take the step, do it, and figure out if it is for you or if it's not for you."
Yes,
because then it's at least into the world. And if it's not for you, that's okay. That's
yes,
okay. I mean, you can always step back, but if you have an idea and you don't take action and you're just keeping going back and forth of like, maybe, maybe not, that's definitely going to halt you from seeing the growth that you really want.
totally, totally. And what is the worst things will happen if you did it and it's happened and it's turned out to be wrong? There is only
Hmm.
two options when you start a podcast, like people who are telling you, either they're gonna succeed like you or not succeeding. First one succeed, great, let's clap for them. Second is not for them. They learn the lessons, they get the feedback, and they move on and try something else. But if they keep having that dream inside them until they turn 60 and 70, and that if I did that, if I just was brave enough to do that, why are you taking that if with you to the grave? Just do it. Do it. Either you're going to succeed on it, is the thing for you, or is something else, you move on and try something else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have loved this conversation so far. And really, I'd love to hear if you have any last piece of advice for the audience when they're thinking about this episode, like when they're thinking about whether it be taking leadership in their own life or finding their what they're meant to do. Like, what other advice do you have for them?
Beside the three steps I mentioned about the clarity and focus and keep grinding,
Hmm.
I can leave the audience in one thing. Being a leader, being a business owner, thriving, scaling in anything you wish to do, it's all inside job. Don't blame anyone outside. Don't blame the circumstances, COVID, the boss don't like you, there is a competition, it's crowded, it's saturated. These are all noise. My advice is to cut the noise, focus, and start. This is your journey. This is your story. You better to do it before it's too late.
Mm, I love that. That's really inspirational. And I think that for anyone who's listening, who's like holding, because that's big, we all hold ourselves back, right?
Yes.
Whenever I think of a new project I want to work on or whatever it may be, I can come up with 100 excuses of why I'm not doing it. But at the end of the day, it's truly just me holding myself back.
Yes. It's all on us. It's all on us. Nobody else. And we
Yeah.
just
And
have to
I
push ourselves. Yeah.
absolutely. And I think entrepreneurship is one of those places where it's like you're working on self-development all the time. Like, you're
Yes.
learning new things about yourself, you're learning new things about the way you work, or even just being honest with yourself, like I was just saying, like, I
Yes.
know I hold myself back a lot, you
Yes.
know?
We all
Like, I
do.
know that.
We all do. Trust me, it's not you. I do it all the time, even I'm
Yeah.
way older than you, because we doubt the steps we calculated, we complicated. It's not that complicated. It's easy. Just do it, and you're gonna make mistake. I mean, don't expect you will never make mistake. I told you I had to lose money in order to gain the money. It's the same thing with mastering your skills. You're not going to get A all the way in school. You're going to fail a little bit until you get the mastery. But by you not doing anything, that's the failure. By not doing anything, it's you do it and you fail. That's like getting a feedback and pivot and doing in different way. So it's all on you. It's all on us, and we just have to start. And the time is now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, like I said, I've loved this conversation so far. Before we get into your action steps for the week, is there anything else you want to share with us before we start to wrap up?
I enjoy talking with you, Haley, and I love what you're doing. Being in this age, younger age in your 20, I believe from talking with other women, younger and older than you have done more than a lot of people who in their mid 30 and hitting their 40, because at least you get clarity about the desire, the passion you have. I can see you found one of your hidden gem, which is hosting podcast, and I wish you all the best, and I wish all your audience get lessons from you. And if they want to reach out to me, if they mention your podcast or your name, I'm willing to give them 1 hour complimentary session in LinkedIn or in Instagram, either about their day job, how to get to the leadership, or if they want to start a small business, if they mention your name and podcast, they will get the complimentary hours with me.
Oh, well, that's really, really generous. And thanks for the kind words. That means a
Yes.
lot to me.
Yes, of
I'll put
course.
that in the show notes. So for anyone who's listening to this, definitely go reach out. Where's the best place to reach out to you?
Yeah, so for I had client who they reach me through LinkedIn, and the reason why
Mhm.
because they are younger engineer and they want to get to the like scaling their game, being in the management, team lead, and all of that, or just pursuing their degree in engineering. If it's master and PhD degree is a good fit for them, they can consult with me in LinkedIn, Sairan Aqrawi. But for those women who are looking for their hidden talent or hidden gem, and they are in their mid 50 like me, and they are planning to towards their retirement or just starting in a small business that they love or they are clear about what they really love to start, they can reach me in Instagram, Sairan Aqrawi.
Perfect. I'll definitely put those both in the show notes. So I have one last question for you, and this is how I wrap up all of my podcast episodes. I love challenging the audience to do things after this conversation is over so they can actually make progress in their life and business or whatever it is that they're focusing on. So I'd love it if you could share 3 action steps for the audience to take this week to move forward in their life, business, whatever it may be.
Number one, write 3 things they want to achieve in 2025. Only 3 things. Number two, take the first action. Number three, to focus on their health.
Oh, that's a really good tip. I know, like, health is a big thing that a lot
It
of
is.
people think about in January, especially, and then
Yes.
kind of just like get lazy with it.
Yes,
But honestly, like, health is such an important part
it
of
is.
just, I think it's more important than work or making money or
Everything.
whatever it is.
Yes, everything.
Well, that's a really great those are great steps. I'm gonna put those in the show notes as well. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I have learned a lot from you, and I definitely think that you've also found your calling in life. You're very inspirational in what you're saying, and I love that you're helping people feel more confident and better and feel like they can achieve what it is they want to achieve. So, thank you for being here. Thanks for being my guest, and I've loved this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Employee to Boss podcast. If you made it to the end of this episode, I hope that you implement the actionable steps from this week's experts so you can get started with your business today. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Employee to Boss podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It helps more than you could ever imagine. Remember, a little progress each day leads to big results. We come out with a new episode every Tuesday. To access our show notes, transcripts, and courses, please check out espressopodcastproduction.com.